Let me ask you something real. Have you ever walked away from a conversation with someone close, maybe a partner, a friend, even family, and felt emotionally off? Not angry, not sad, but like confused, drained, a little guilty, and yet you couldn't explain why. Sounds familiar? This is for you. That's not in your head. That's not overthinking. That is what manipulation feels like at the beginning. And if you don't learn to spot it, it can mess with your peace, your confidence, and your growth. Welcome to Deep Stoic Minds, where we break down ancient wisdom for modern problems, where philosophy meets personal power. If you're tired of being emotionally pulled in every direction, this space is for you. In this video, you're going to learn how to recognize the subtle signs of manipulation, the ones no one talks about, how Stoic thinking can help you stay grounded when someone tries to confuse or guilt you, and how to reclaim your peace without guilt, drama, or emotional war. This isn't just about spotting manipulators. This is about protecting your mind, your focus, and your inner peace. By the end of this video, you won't just feel seen, you'll feel strong enough to walk away from the things that twist your truth. But before we get into it, subscribe to Deep Stoic Minds if you're ready to grow stronger, calmer, and more unshakable every single week. Let's go deeper now. You ever notice how someone's words might sound nice, but the energy behind it feels wrong? That's one of the first signs. Manipulation doesn't always come as yelling or threats. Sometimes it's sugar-coated, polished, polite, but you walk away questioning yourself. Did I overreact? Maybe I am too sensitive. I should have just kept quiet. That confusion is the red flag. A manipulative person knows how to twist words to make you doubt your reality. They want you to believe that your reaction is the problem, not their behavior. This is why so many people stay stuck. Because the manipulation doesn't feel like abuse, it feels like your fault. Epictetus once said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation." Now listen closely, and this isn't about blaming yourself, it's about realizing your power. If someone can make you feel small or crazy with a single comment, that's a warning. Not just about them, but about what you're giving them access to. Stoicism teaches us to take radical responsibility over what we let inside. Not everyone deserves access to your emotions. Not everyone earns the right to shape your thoughts. How manipulation shows up that no one tells you about. Let me break down some of the sneaky tactics manipulators use. Guilt-tripping you for having boundaries. Wow, I didn't think you would act like that. Translation: how dare you protect your peace from me? Making you question your memory. Gaslighting. I never said that, you always twist things. The moment you start doubting yourself. They win. Silent treatment or withholding affection. Not direct aggression, just emotional starvation. It punishes without saying a word. Twisting your words. Mid-conversation. You express your needs calmly. They flip it and say, "Why are you attacking me?" These things may seem small, but they add up, and over time you lose trust in your own voice. Here's where Stoicism hits different. A Stoic doesn't fight fire with fire. They don't explain themselves over and over to people committed to misunderstanding them. Instead, they observe. They detach from the emotional chaos. They see clearly, and then they choose what to allow and what to walk away from. Seneca said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." If the people in your life are confusing you more than they're helping you grow, that's your answer. Real talk. You're not weak for feeling it. Listen, just because you've been manipulated doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're human. It means you care, you trust, you want to see the best in people. But you can't sacrifice your peace just to keep someone else comfortable. So here's your permission. You're allowed to outgrow manipulation. You're allowed to set boundaries without giving a 10-minute explanation. You're allowed to walk away from people who make you question your own worth. No anger, no drama, just clarity. That's what Stoicism is about. If any part of this hit home for you, if you've ever been left speechless by someone who twisted your truth, drop a comment below. Let us know how you're protecting your peace. And if you're serious about growing into someone unshakable, Subscribe to Deep Stoic Minds because this journey doesn't end here. The next chapters will help you protect yourself, not just from others, but from the habits that keep you stuck. Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered, why does it always feel like I'm the one people try to take advantage of? Why do manipulators seem to find you over and over again? It's not weakness. It's not your fault. But there is a pattern. And today we're going to break it. Manipulators don't choose the weak. They choose the empathetic. Let's start with the truth. Manipulators don't go after people because they're weak. They go after people who care. Think about it. You're the one who listens when others are hurting. You're the one who tries to see the good in everyone. You're the one who gives second chances, even when your gut is screaming, walk away. That's not a flaw, that's compassion. But manipulators, they see it as opportunity. They test boundaries quietly. They play the victim first. You're the only one who understands me. And then, slowly, they flip the script. Suddenly, you're the villain. You're the problem. And you're the one who needs to apologize for things you didn't even do. The Stoic view, why you must master yourself first. Let's bring in the Stoics. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When someone manipulates you, your instinct might be to prove yourself, argue back, or fix the situation. But what does Stoicism teach us? Don't match their energy. Master your own. You can't control who tries to manipulate you, but you can control your reaction. And more than that, you can change the way you show up so they don't even try you in the first place. That starts with knowing your worth so well that when someone tries to twist your kindness, you immediately step back and go, no, not again." What makes you a target and how to flip the script? There are 3 common traits manipulators look for. 1. You doubt yourself often. You second-guess your decisions. You apologize too quickly. You feel guilty just for saying no. How to flip it? Start with simple boundaries. If someone crosses your line, don't explain, don't overtalk. Say, "This doesn't work for me," that's it. Stand in that. 2. You're afraid of disappointing people. This one's deep. A lot of us were raised to believe love is earned by keeping the peace. So even when someone treats us poorly, we ask ourselves, but what if I hurt their feelings? How to flip it? Ask this instead. What if they're hurting mine? You are not responsible for anyone else's emotional reactions, only your own. As Epictetus said, it is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Shift your opinion of yourself. You are not mean for setting boundaries. You are wise. 3. You have a fixer mentality. You see broken people and want to help. You think, if I love them enough, maybe they'll change. Manipulators love this, because while you're trying to fix them, they're busy breaking you. How to flip it? You are not a rehabilitation center for emotionally unavailable people. Your peace is not a project. Your growth should not require sacrificing your dignity. You are not here to save them. You're here to save yourself. Recognizing emotional patterns you might not notice. Manipulation is sneaky. It doesn't always come in yelling and chaos. Sometimes it looks like they ignore your needs but demand attention. They compliment you just enough to keep you hooked. They always make you feel like the one who overreacted. They disappear when you need support but show up when they need something. It's exhausting. But here's what you need to hear. It's not normal, it's not healthy, and it's not love. You may have grown up thinking this is just how people are, but once you wake up, you'll never unsee it. How to break the pattern and never fall for it again. Here's where we get to the healing. Breaking the pattern starts with rewiring how you see yourself, because the moment you realize, you are allowed to walk away. You do not owe anyone endless access to your energy. Peace is your right, not a reward for being useful. That's the moment manipulators stop finding a home in you. Here are a few practices that work. Practice 1, daily check-ins. Ask yourself, ask, how do I feel around this person? Am I anxious or peaceful? Do I feel heard or always misunderstood? If someone consistently leaves you feeling worse, that's data. Use it. Practice 2. Mirror work. Yes, really. Say this to your reflection. I do not need to shrink myself to keep others comfortable. Say it every day, loud, clear, until your inner voice believes it. Practice 3. Audit your circle. Write down the people you spend the most time with. Next to each name, write a simple arrow. They lift you, or they drain you. Start adjusting accordingly. Practice 4. Speak your boundaries without fear. Stop saying maybe later when you mean no. Start saying I'm not available for that. This is your life, and don't narrate it to please others. Live it boldly. Final reflection for this chapter. The Stoics never said to avoid people. They said to guard your soul. You can still love people. From a distance, you can be kind and still walk away. Being strong doesn't mean fighting every manipulator. It means becoming so clear on who you are. They stop trying. As Seneca said, associate with people who are likely to improve you. If someone is always confusing you, hurting you, or draining you, they're not improving you. They're undoing you. Choose better. If this sounds like something you've been through, share it with us in the comments. How did you handle it? Let's learn from each other and grow stronger together. The Manipulator's Playbook and How to Disarm It. It's unsettling once you start seeing it. The patterns, the tactics, the same recycled mind games played over and over again. Different faces, different voices, but the same blueprint. Manipulators rarely improvise, they don't need to, because their tactics work, especially on people who haven't learned how to recognize the game. But once you see it, once you understand it, you can't unsee it, and you'll never fall for it the same way again. This chapter is about breaking that spell. Let's walk through the Manipulator's Playbook. Then I'll show you how to burn it. Tactic number 1, love bombing and idealization. At first, they make you feel like the center of the universe. Non-stop compliments, over-the-top attention, fast emotional intimacy. They say things like, "You're different from everyone I've ever met." "I've never felt this way so quickly before. Where have you been all my life? It feels incredible." But that's the trick. The goal isn't to love you. It's to hook you, to create a high they can later take away and use as leverage. What to watch for? If it feels too good to be true too fast, slow down. Genuine love takes time to build. Manipulation tries to microwave it in 5 minutes or less. Stoic countermove. Temper your emotions with reason. As Marcus Aurelius said, very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself. Don't let external praise become your fuel. You are already enough, and with or without someone else's approval. Tactic number 2, gaslighting. Gaslighting is psychological warfare. It's when they distort your reality, so you start questioning yourself instead of them. You say, "That hurt me." They say, "You're too sensitive." You say, "I don't remember agreeing to that." They say, "You're just being forgetful again." Eventually you wonder, am I the problem? What to watch for? You constantly apologize, feel confused after conversations, or rely on them to explain what happened. Stoic countermove. Hold to your truth with calm strength. Epictetus taught, if someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. That doesn't mean it's your fault. It means you get to reclaim your mental space. If something feels wrong, trust your gut, then verify the facts. Keep a journal. Write things down. Don't let someone else rewrite your story. Tactic number 3, triangulation. This one's sneaky. They bring other people into your conflicts to make you feel isolated or jealous. They might say, "Even Sarah thinks you're overreacting." At least Mark doesn't complain like you do. Everyone agrees you're being dramatic. It creates insecurity and competition. You begin to question your worth. You start chasing validation instead of peace. What to watch for? They constantly compare you to others, subtly or directly, especially when you're emotionally vulnerable. Stoic countermove. Return to what you can control, your perception. As Seneca reminds us, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Your value doesn't come from comparisons. You are not in competition with anyone. The only path is your own. Tactic number 4, the guilt trap. Manipulators are experts at using your kindness against you. You say no. They say, "Wow, after everything I've done for you." You stand your ground. They look hurt and say, "I guess I'm just a terrible person, huh?" This isn't about accountability. It's about control. What to watch for. You constantly feel guilty for setting basic boundaries, like saying no, needing space, or asking for respect. Stoic counter-move. Separate guilt from responsibility. True responsibility comes from strength, not shame. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." Let your actions reflect your principles, not someone else's manipulation. Boundaries are not betrayal, they are self-respect. Tactic number 5, the hot and cold cycle. One day they love you, the next they're cold or distant. You feel like you're on an emotional roller coaster, never knowing which version of them you'll get. This keeps you anxious and makes you chase the good days. What to watch for? You feel addicted to the highs because the lows are so painful. Stoic countermove. Detach from emotional extremes. Peace is not in the spike, it's in the steady. Epictetus reminds us, freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. You can still care about someone and refuse to let them toy with your mind. How to disarm the playbook. Now that we've exposed the manipulator's favorite tricks, how do you protect yourself? Here's your Stoic toolkit. 1. Know your values. Manipulators succeed when we don't have strong internal anchors. Write down your non-negotiables. What do you stand for? What are your boundaries? What kind of relationships do you want to allow in your life? 2. Practice response, not reaction. When someone tries to manipulate you, pause. Take a breath. Let the emotions settle. Respond from clarity, not chaos. This is the Stoic way. Calm is your superpower. 3. Keep emotional distance. You don't owe everyone your full vulnerability. Earned trust is a filter. If someone has shown patterns of manipulation, create space, mentally and emotionally. You can love someone and still not tolerate their tactics. 4. Guard your mind. What you think about, you become. Don't let someone else's story infect your self-talk. Use affirmations, read philosophy, journal, meditate, strengthen your inner dialogue. If any of this hits home, if you've ever felt emotionally played, confused, or drained, you're not alone. Tell us your experience in the comments. How did you spot it? How did you reclaim your peace? We're listening. Final reminder from the Stoics. You are not crazy. You are not too sensitive. You are not hard to love. You were just dealing with someone who made their control look like care, their chaos feel like love, and their harm feel like your fault. That ends today. As Marcus Aurelius said, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Protect your thoughts, protect your peace, and never let manipulation feel like love again. Mastering emotional boundaries. Protecting your peace from manipulators. What are emotional boundaries? Let's get clear. An emotional boundary is your personal space in the realm of feelings, energy, and attention. It's what keeps other people's emotions from becoming your responsibility. It's what protects your peace without needing to justify it. Most manipulators operate in the emotional space. They don't cross physical lines. They twist words, use guilt, withhold affection, or pretend they're just joking, but inside, you're reeling. That's why emotional boundaries aren't optional. They're survival tools. Epictetus said, "Keep your will in harmony with nature. That's the only thing truly under your control." Your will is your emotional space. You must protect it like it's sacred ground. Signs your boundaries are being crossed. Let's get honest. If you relate to any of these, it might be time to reset your boundaries. You feel responsible for how someone else feels, even when it's not your fault. You say yes just to avoid guilt. You feel anxious when someone doesn't text back, even though they always make you feel bad when they do. You apologize even when you did nothing wrong. You feel emotionally exhausted after seeing certain people. If that's you, breathe. You're not broken. You've just never been taught how to defend your peace. And that's what we're doing now. Why emotional boundaries scare people, especially manipulators. Here's what they don't want you to know. When you build emotional boundaries, you take away their control. A manipulator thrives when you react, when you explain, when you defend, when you doubt yourself, but when you stop over-explaining, they panic. When you say no and don't justify it, they get confused. When you respond with silence instead of emotion, they lose their grip. Marcus Aurelius wrote, You always own the option of having no opinion. There is never a need to get worked up or to trouble your soul. In other words, protect your emotional energy. You don't owe them a reaction. You owe yourself peace. How to build strong emotional boundaries that actually work. Let's break this down into practical steps. 1. Name what you feel. You can't set a boundary if you don't know what's being violated. Start journaling after interactions that leave you off. Ask yourself, did I feel drained? Was I guilted? Did I feel unsafe expressing myself? Stoics always valued reflection. Marcus Aurelius journaled daily to understand his mind. So should you. 2. Create a pause. Before responding. Train yourself to pause, even 3 seconds, before reacting emotionally. This is your power gap. It's where the manipulator loses grip. 3. Use clear, direct language. Don't explain, don't overtalk. Just state your line. I'm not available for that. I don't find that funny. That doesn't work for me. Clarity is power. If they're confused, it's because they want to be, not because you weren't clear. 4. Drop the guilt. Guilt is the manipulator's favorite tool. But guilt is not proof of wrongdoing. It's often just a sign that you're finally choosing yourself. 5. Walk away without the drama. Sometimes you don't need a big confrontation. Just less contact, less energy, less space in your mind. You're not ghosting, you're growing. What Stoicism teaches about emotional protection. The Stoics were emotional warriors. They didn't suppress feelings, they studied them, mastered them, owned them. Seneca said, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." When you build boundaries, you stop suffering twice, once when it happens, and again in your mind. Your job is to become the gatekeeper of your peace. And that means not every text deserves a reply. Not every family member deserves full access. Not every apology needs to be accepted. You get to choose who stays and who drains. Hey, real talk. Have you ever had to emotionally detach from someone close, a friend, partner, or even a parent, just to protect your peace? Tell me in the comments below. Your story might help someone else realize they're not alone. Drop a key if you've been there and made it through stronger. Rewire your mindset around boundaries. Boundaries are not walls, they're doors you control. They're not punishments, they're protection. They're not about rejecting people, they're about accepting peace. And when you master them, you stop bleeding emotionally for people who won't even offer you a bandage. Final Stoic reminder. Epictetus once said, "No person is free who is not master of themselves." And self-mastery begins with emotional boundaries. So if someone keeps pushing your limits, draining your spirit, or leaving you confused, remember, you don't need their permission to protect your peace. You just need the courage to stand still when chaos is trying to pull you in. How to protect your growth. When life tries to pull you back, there will always be noise, people trying to pull you back into chaos, old patterns knocking at your door, manipulators testing your limits, friends who don't want you to change, because if you grow, it reminds them they haven't. That's the strange thing about growth, it doesn't just change you, it challenges everyone around you. But this chapter isn't about them, it's about you, and how to hold the line. Because real peace isn't found in escaping life, it's found in choosing not to be shaken by it. Your peace is a boundary, not a gift. We often think peace is something that happens when everything settles down, when people leave us alone, when life calms. But peace, real peace, is something you protect even while the storm is raging. It's not a reward life gives you, it's a boundary you set and enforce every single day. When someone tries to disturb that peace, by pulling you back into an argument, by trying to control you, by testing your patience, you don't owe them your reaction. As Marcus Aurelius said, you don't have to turn this into something, it doesn't have to upset you. The moment you realize you are the guardian of your own energy, everything shifts. You stop waiting for peace to arrive. You start becoming it, the pull of the past. Growth is exciting, but it's also lonely at times. Not everyone wants you to grow. Some will say, "You've changed. You're acting different. You're not fun anymore." They'll mock your boundaries, push your buttons, try to make you feel guilty for evolving. Why? Because your growth makes them uncomfortable with their stagnation. They remember the version of you that tolerated disrespect, that said yes to things you didn't want, that made yourself smaller so others could feel bigger. And now that you're not that person anymore, they either grow with you or they try to bring you back. This is where most people relapse into old friendships, toxic patterns, unhealthy relationships, because they confuse comfort with connection and being needed with being loved. But you're here now. You know better. Growth means walking away sometimes, not with anger, but with clarity. You don't owe anyone the old version of you. Know when to rest, not quit. Life will test you. The moment you start healing, growing, becoming more grounded, life will press even harder. People will misunderstand you. Friends might ghost you. You'll have days where you feel like you're moving backwards, but remember this: feeling overwhelmed doesn't mean you're failing. It means you're doing the hard work of changing your life. Even Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, struggled with these battles. He wrote in his Meditations, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Rest. Don't quit. Take a breath. Journal. Go outside. Step away, not backwards. Your progress is real, even if no one claps for it. Don't just cut people off. Outgrow them. Stoicism isn't about ghosting people or cutting them off in silence. It's about becoming so grounded they no longer have access to your peace. You don't have to burn bridges, you just have to stop crossing the ones that lead you nowhere. Outgrowing someone doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it looks like not replying to chaos, saying no without explaining, loving someone from a distance, keeping your goals private, choosing calm over revenge. This is what unshakable looks like. You don't argue, you don't beg, you just protect what you've built. Growth is quiet, peace is loud. Rebuild what they tried to break. When you've been manipulated, controlled, or emotionally drained, it takes time to rebuild your identity. You might ask, was it my fault? How did I let them in? Can I really trust again? And that's okay. These are normal questions. But remember, it wasn't your fault that someone tried to manipulate you. It's your strength that you noticed. It's your wisdom that you walked away. It's your power that you're still here, learning, growing. Epictetus said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best." So now, you rebuild. You rebuild your boundaries, your self-trust, your routine, your goals, your joy. Bit by bit, step by step, until your life reflects the peace you fought for. Healing is growth, and growth is defense. Every boundary you set is an act of healing. Every time you stay silent when someone tries to provoke you, you're protecting your peace. Every time you walk away from manipulation, you're rewriting your story. This is Stoicism in real life. Not just quotes, not just philosophy, but in every moment you choose not to react. Every time you stay still in the storm. Every time you trust yourself again. You're practicing it. You are the calm in your life, the anchor, the quiet center that nothing can shake. And that makes you dangerous in the best way, because no one can control someone who is at peace. If you've made it to the end of this video, then you're not just consuming motivation, you're committing to growth. And that's rare. So here's what I want you to do. Drop a comment below with one thing you're doing this week to protect your peace. Let others see it. Let it inspire someone else who's still in the struggle. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Deep Stoic Minds is here every week, with grounded, powerful motivation rooted in ancient wisdom and designed for your modern life. And if you're listening to this while falling asleep or studying, let this be your background reminder. You're not broken, you're becoming. The more you protect your peace, the more your life will reflect it. You've got this. We're here with you. This is Deep Stoic Minds. See you on our next video.